Hey friends. So a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I guess, I have recorded some videos, some twin flame talks that I had like a few more additional thoughts that I wanted to add on, and I just never did because my older daughter was visiting for a little while before she moves out of state again. So I just hadn't gotten around to it. Because of it being the 222 portal and because of the collective healing that I've been guided to do tonight, or today, being for forgiveness, I want to record these before I do that so that you guys have that reflection. Spirit's playing with the lights. I don't know if you can see them flickering. I want to keep this as succinct as possible, and because I was busy at the time, I just wrote down notes. So I'm just going to read from my notes this time so that I can't go off on tangents and I can't talk forever like I sometimes do. So I'm just going to go from my notes, okay? So I believe in those talks I was discussing the yang period and the yin period, and how there's a time of action and a time of waiting, because there's times when internal growth has to process and times when, that progress is meant to be made. So it was stemming from there and talking about like how we are supposed to teach ourselves for how to handle ourselves. And this is also the process of the divine feminines working through their wounds, because the thing is, the divine feminines tend to think that they're done with their healing, and they tend to think that they are doing all of the work and that they're done with their healing, and then they have to wait for their masculine. And to be honest, at one point in time, I felt like that too. And I didn't feel like it in a bad way. I just said the feminine finishes the process first and then has to hold space for the masculine to finish their side of the process. And that's true to some extent. I mean, the feminine might heal some wounds, like the inner child wounds and the more traumatic ones from childhood and past lives. But during that waiting period of holding space for the divine masculine to finish their side of the process, there are other wounds that will come up for the divine feminine that need to be healed as well. And the divine feminine might not want to see that because they think that they're done, that they've finished, that they're ready. But really, Spirit's saying, no, you're not actually. So yeah, basically, the divine feminines are wanting to believe that they've done everything that they need to, and there's no work left for them to do. Just wait for the divine masculines, who a lot of times the feminine feels like, this masculine's a pain in the butt. He's taken so long, and why can't he just do this, that, or the other? Sorry, my hair is like sticking out in front of my face. I don't know. So a lot of times, oh my God, I can still see something. Sorry. A lot of times the feminines, have judgments and negative energy to some extent towards the masculines, because honestly, they don't understand what they're going through, what they're dealing with. They don't understand that they can't come into union with you until they are ready, until they've gone through what they need to. And the feminines are here thinking, I'm done, I've done what I need to, and now I'm waiting. But the reunion phase, and my epiphany about the yin period or the waiting period has taught me that we shouldn't be thinking like that. The divine feminines have healed a lot. They've healed the conscious layers of things. They've conquered some certain difficult wounds. But there are deeper layers that we are not aware of, that are unconscious, that we do still need to work through and work on. And particularly in the reunion phase, when you're getting so close to union that you can practically taste it, and you don't understand like what the holdup is, that's when Spirit is working on those deeper subconscious wounds and those deeper layers of fear that need to be released and let go of, that we need to detach from. So we may or may not be somewhat aware of them. It can be that we are not aware of them at all, and it can also be that we might be aware, but we don't know what to do about it. We don't know how to fix it. Like an example that I can give you is that for me, completely detaching from like expectations of when and needing to know everything going on, that was harder for me because of the spiritual warfare journey that I went through. And simply, and honestly, I think this one applies to everybody or most people, simply the passage of time and feeling like how much more time will pass, basically. But these are things that Spirit really works on us to get us to let go and not focus on them anymore. I don't know how many times Spirit has told me, kill expectations. And this is what Spirit will help the Divine Feminines work through during that reunion phase in the lead up towards union. These wounds that the Divine Feminine has to heal during this final phase, these tend to be wounds that have been created by the twin flame journey, like as opposed to being stuff from our inner child, past lives, traumas, whatever. They're wounds that have been born from the twin flame journey or from the spiritual warfare journey, because these journeys in themselves can be very triggering and traumatic. Even like they can even cause PTSD with the spiritual warfare journeys. So another good one would be like that worrying about that you're crazy and that this is all in your head and it's not really real and it'll never happen, it'll never go anywhere. That's another one that the Divine Feminines tend to need to heal. And they might be somewhat aware of it, but at the same time they don't know how to heal that, how to deal with it. And that was one that I saw Spirit work me through and let go of. So yeah, these are created by the journey and the circumstances that we're dealing with, and that's why they're hard to release and hard to even understand how to release them. So Spirit will trigger you, Divine Feminines, in whatever way is needed to help you release those hard to tackle wounds. And you're still going to feel that sometimes. You're still going to feel those purges and those triggers when Spirit is pulling that out of you. And, the purges are not as bad as they are in the beginning part of the journey, but they still come up from time to time. And it's all the process of helping you heal and helping you find that inner union, have complete acceptance with no expectations, being able to detach, okay? Being able to detach and just let things unfold. And the best way for you to do that, to consciously try to do that, is to focus on being present from day to day. Focus on one step at a time, one day at a time. Don't focus on the bigger picture as much. Focus on the bigger picture in terms of understanding everything, but don't focus on, I need my twin to do this, that, and the other. Like, make yourself happy every day and focus on what you're doing every day. I'm trying to think what else I meant when I said don't, not the bigger picture, but the little stuff. And I think it was because it was something I experienced myself, that it was like, rather than looking at bigger picture things, it was, well, what can I do? Oh, okay, I know what it was. So one of the things for me was like, okay, well, what will make me happy is being able to do certain things with my life that I can't do right now. And that's something that, being a single mom, there's not much that I can do to change that right now. That's something that has no choice but to wait. So what I learned was, rather than focusing on, well, if I want to be happy, then I need to be able to do these things that I'm not capable of doing at this point yet because of the circumstances that limit me. Instead, what can I do? What can I focus on? What little things can I do in my day-to-day life to make myself happier, to be more present, and to appreciate, each day, instead of focusing on not being able to do the other stuff. So that's another thing you can do. Releasing expectations for what will happen or when it will happen. That's a tough one, but you really got to work on it. That's something you can put a conscious thought process into. You have to know that it will happen without worrying about how or when. And I can tell you that Spirit has proven to me recently that they will surprise me, and it will be unexpected that you will think that you know, but you don't know. So just do you in the meantime. If you are aware of any any inner work that you need to do, you can focus on that. Focus on releasing control in any way that you can. What is it? What's triggering your control issues? What's triggering your, OCD stuff? That's because you don't have control. Focus on how you can release that and heal that. You can check in with spirit if there's any healing work that's needed on any like past lives or anything with your twin, because spirit reveals everything in layers. Spirit doesn't tell you everything at once. So you could in the past have already done some healing work for you and your twin, but at this stage of your journey is when some certain past life is meant to be revealed to be healed, or that could be between you and your twin, or it could be something for yourself. I have learned that pretty much everybody spends lifetimes being bad too, being dark. So integrating those lifetimes and going through a soul retrieval process of integrating those dark versions of yourself, because you no longer need to have those separate soul fragments out there, because you've learned your lessons, you're going through ascension, so you can reintegrate that. So that's stuff that I've seen coming up. I'm going to talk on this more in a different video, but I've also learned that with spiritual warfare, that the spiritual warfare is us freeing ourselves from the karma of the lifetimes that we spent doing bad things. That's why it's so prevalent in the twin flame journey, because we all have gone through those lifetimes, and then we have to release it and heal it now. So what else? So checking in about any healing work that you can do and being open to receiving whatever spirit needs to tell you. Okay, hold on. I don't know what possessed me to write this way. It might have been spirit and automatic writing, but I wrote, let go of the sails and go with spirit's flow. So stop trying to control and go with the flow. Trust your intuition on whether or not you should communicate with your twin. If you're in the reunion stage, which I'm talking about primarily the reunion stage. So if you're in the reunion stage, then you should be in communication as well. So then it's going to be about, there's obviously the normal communication and there's deeper communication. So go trust your intuition on the deeper communication if there's anything big that you guys need to talk about. And trusting which period of activity you're in, yin or yang. Is there action that needs to be taken, or is this a period to allow your twin to go through an inner growth process or an inner healing process, and you just need to hold space for them to do it? So listen to your spirit guides and your intuition on what to do when. Meditate, ground, cleanse yourself, and just be present from day to day. That's what you can do to actively work on the divine feminine's healing process during the reunion phase. Okay. Ooh, almost dropped my iPad. But I will tell you that no one can tell you what to do here. You will achieve this as you are able to achieve it. I can give you advice, other people can give you advice, whether it's general or it's specific, and someone can point out and pinpoint, this is what you need to work on, whatever. It doesn't matter how much someone else says it to you. You will achieve it mentally and emotionally when you are capable of it, when you're ready for it. Last year, someone accused me of blocking my soul group's unions by being too focused on needing to know what was going on and not being able to detach more. And it triggered me. And it triggered a bunch of things that happened after that, but, and reactions that they had to me. But honestly, I think it's kind of preposterous to say that in the first place. But the thing is, like, whether that was true or not, which I don't believe that I could be blocking anyone else's union, but whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter how much someone else says that to me. I have to get there when I am ready to get there. And that was part of my healing process. And that was what spirit had to take me through. And it didn't matter what anyone else said to me. So honestly, be compassionate with your friends, because trying to force them to see isn't going to do anything. I was saying that trying to force someone to see to see what they need to work on, what they need to heal, what they need to do, whatever it may be, it is not really usually going to help them. I mean, it depends on how receptive they are, and it depends who they're asking. Like maybe they're asking a healer, hey, what are you seeing that I need to work on? That's different. But more so, I think with friends and with Soul Tribe and whatnot, and even in a coaching capacity as well, because I can see it both from the perspective of what was said to me, as well as me speaking to others and trying to help others. It doesn't matter how much I say it to someone, and it doesn't matter how much someone else says it to me. They have to get through that healing process, how they're going to get through it. And you can really just cause damage and harm to relationships by trying to force someone to see what they're not ready to. So you can plant a seed, and I suggest planting a seed gently and compassionately, and then allow spirit to help the seed grow. That's my best advice there, because you can trigger people's shadows and it can blow up and have unfortunate consequences that I've experienced. So that is my best advice there. But yes, you will get there and even if you are consciously aware of it, because of course I was to some extent, especially once that was said to me, more consciously aware of that, but I still couldn't force myself to be able to do that. I had to get there in my time and in my healing process, and spirit got me there. But that's not something that even you yourself can't completely control. When the divine masculine is ready, this is something that spirit told me. When the divine masculine is ready, nothing can stop him. And you need to trust that. You need to trust that when he is ready, nothing can stop him. So just hold space for him in the meantime and allow him to get there when and how he needs to. Just like I was saying, that what you're working through and what you're healing, that you have to do that at your own pace. The same goes for the masculine and the healing that they are working through. They have to get there at their pace and their readiness, and you have to hold space for them to do that. Don't hold it against them that it's taking them time. Hold space for them and trust that when they're ready, nothing can stop them. And if they haven't done it yet, there's still something that needs to be healed. Don't doubt them, believe in them. And I actually want to pause for a second, and I want to read something to you guys that a client sent me yesterday that was so beautiful and amazing from her divine masculine. So hold on. So when I was talking about how the divine masculines will get there at their pace and in their timing as well, and when they're ready, nothing can stop them, it reminded me of this message. And she wanted to share with me what her divine masculine had said to her. She's in the reunion phase as well, and is very close to union. And he sent her a message that says, "Thank you for showing me the light, helping me see the path to happiness and opening my heart. You are my lighthouse, my person, and have helped me in seeing things in ways that I need to, how it should be. You have unlocked and brought out things in me that no one else could have. Thank you." And when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this so strongly resonates to me with so much of what I talk about with you guys. Because what I was thinking about was how you have to hold space for them, and you have to trust them and not worry about their timing. So many divine feminines worry that their masculines aren't even thinking about them, that they don't care, that they won't come, that they're going to stay in their karmic situations, or they're going to do whatever. And I feel like I say a lot, you are your divine masculine's lighthouse. You are their beacon. You are guiding them through the storm, and they just have to find their way through their process. And this message that he said to her, I felt like was outlining that exactly. And it was the perfect example of, yes, they do know, they do think about you, they do feel the difference that you are making in their lives, and they're just getting through their process. So believe in them, trust them, and just be patient. So, and be patient and hold space for them. So now I'm going to go back and turn. Why won't you turn? There you go. What is going on? So, I wrote down the divine masculine struggles, their issues and wounds that they're working on healing it's unconscious to them too. Some of it they might be aware of, some of it they're not aware of. So because some of it is unconscious to them, the focus here is on what is unconscious to them. Because let's say the masculines are not up in their higher chakras, they're in their lower chakras, and they're not as self-aware usually. They can be, but not usually. So they have unconscious wounds that they don't realize are holding them back in some way. And that's part of what can be making things take longer for them, where they might even think that they're ready and they might seem ready. And you're like, why are they still not? Because there's these unconscious wounds that spirit is working through with them also. So basically, the divine masculines in the reunion phase, they can know exactly how they feel about their divine feminines. They can know exactly what they want and still be struggling to push past this invisible barrier that is blocking them from forward movement. And a lot of times, these subconscious wounds, I was going to say, I feel like more often than not, I can't say for sure, but I feel like more often than not, these subconscious wounds tend to be self-worth related, and in the heart chakra and the sacral chakra, basically because of those like deep abandonment wounds or deep attachment disorders that have caused them to have fear of opening up, fear of like taking the walls down from around their heart, or from taking the risk on real love, or from even like not feeling worthy. Like my twin, he still has struggled with that. Like even though how he feels is crystal clear and he's verbalized it, he has also said that he doesn't deserve me. And that's something that he brings up to me a lot, to be honest, like asking me, why do you put up with me? So those self-worth wounds and struggles are a subconscious wound that create that invisible barrier that they have to get past. Overthinking tends to be an invisible barrier for them as well, that thinking that so divine masculines sit in their lower chakras more. They sit in their root chakras. That's very important to them. Why I'm looking for this. I know I wrote it down. No, I don't see it. But stability in the material world is very important to them. And so they can get all up in their heads about it has to be done a certain way. They have to handle everything a certain way, whether it's dealing with karmic situations or just they need to have their lives in a certain order. And spiritual awakening may help that, but it's still like ingrained in many masculines. So that can cause overthinking with focusing too much on wanting it to happen and be a certain way. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if spirit is pushing them past that by showing them you can't make it be a certain way. You can't be too rigid on that. You have to be flexible, and you have to, go with the flow and make it work to some extent. Not make it work. I do believe that it will align in the best way, in the way that it's meant to, but just not be too rigid. Be more flexible and open to how it can come about. So, and here I found that, but that's all I wrote. So I did it from memory. The divine feminine fears usually I tend to be around rejection and abandonment too. The fear of being crazy, like none of this is real. And their wounds can be more sacral and crown chakra oriented primarily. There can also be some other chakra wounds that come up for feminines. The feminines, I think, are less predictable, I guess you could say. For the masculines, it's a little bit more predictable to be the heart and sacral chakras and somewhat root chakra as well. For the feminines, it depends on each individual person. But I feel sacral and crown are most significant because of the fear of rejection and the fear that none of this is real. And that's the 3D conditioning getting to us and making us feel like we're crazy. Of course, there can be other stuff, like there can be third eye if you're not developing your gifts. There can be heart if you have your own walls up around your heart. Solar plexus or throat chakra stuff if you're not standing in your power in your life for your life purpose path and standing and speaking your soul truths. So there can be issues there as well. So you can focus on those particular wounds and focus on letting go of your fears and anxieties as much as you possibly can, because honestly, Spirit's going to push you pretty far to let go of them completely. So the last bit here says, as much as we are told or Actually, I might have already talked about this. So you're, as much as we are told or we tell ourselves what we need to do, we're only capable of doing what we're capable of at any given time based on our level of healing. I didn't say that part, based on our level of healing. So keep working through your healing process. You can keep getting spiritual healing as well, and that can help. We can't help it. We honestly, if you still have stuff to heal there, we can't help it if we get caught up in control-oriented behaviors, like the little OCD issues, like needing to know what's going on, stuff like that. We can't help it if we have anxiety and need to check the 3D, and that's something that a lot of feminines do, whether they're checking social media and stuff like that. And I don't consider checking social media a bad thing. That's a block, but it's another symptom of, what it is that you need to work on and heal. I don't believe that that's something that will hold you back, checking the 3D, because that's different from, needing to know what's going on. They're similar, they're connected, but a little bit different, because social media may or may not tell you anything. That's why I say that. But anyway, so we can't help that if we have anxiety and get caught up in those behaviors. We can't help it if we're emotional. And then to add to that, we're also picking up our divine masculine's energy and emotions. And there's a lot of times that we pick up our divine masculine's emotions, whether they're angry, frustrated, anxious, whatever, and we don't even realize it. So when that happens, our brain assigns it to something for us instead. So you might, be picking up your divine masculine's anger, and for you, your brain is going to apply that to something going on in your life. And whether you're angry about something that happened with someone else, or it brings up old wounds with your masculine. Although I haven't experienced that very much. I think the only times I've experienced it trigger an old wound with my masculine has been when something has legitimately come up for healing, which doesn't really happen so much anymore. That was in the past in older phases. But it's certainly possible, of course. Like this new moon has been bringing up stuff that needs to be forgiven. And the collective healing I'm doing is for forgiveness. I was like, well, that's no coincidence. And I think that for me personally, because I did have some stuff, I was fine. I wasn't really bothered, but it was coming to mind on Monday night. And I felt like I wondered if my twin was thinking about these old events from very early years, and just maybe like feeling some remorse about them. And now here we are. I'm going to do the forgiveness healing here later on. So, but anyway, my main point here is that divine feminines will feel the energy and emotions from the masculines, and they may or may not realize it, and that's going to affect how you're behaving as well. So, you have your own subconscious wounds that you're working on releasing, your own triggers and PTSD from the journey itself. And then you're also feeling your divine masculine stuff and transmuting emotions for them. So, there's just a whole nother layer of emotional ups and downs that the feminines can be going through, making you feel crazy. So what else? So that's another reason why they say about how we mirror each other and we pick up the emotions and whatnot. So that's something to be conscious of. And just understand that everyone is doing the best that they can. I lost my spot. Be gracious with yourself. Be gracious with others. Know that we will know what we need to do, and we will get where we need to get in divine timing when we're ready to. There's only so much we can control about ourselves and our behavior, and only so much we can do. We can work on it. We can make a conscious effort, but it's a process of letting go. And we have to have that radical acceptance of that process and of ourselves and for our twins, and have forgiveness along the way. So just trust the process. Trust Spirit to guide us through this healing process, and know that you'll get there. Spirit will get us there. We can do what we can, what we're strong enough to handle, and Spirit will do the rest. So that was my notes from the previous talks that I wanted to cover. And there's a few more things real quick that again, perfectly align with the theme of forgiveness right now. The first one I want to talk about real quick is it came up with a client not too long ago who's going through some frustrations and questioning things. And she was questioning the connection and what was going on in the context of a normal 3D relationship, which is completely normal, understandable. But what I said to her, what I ended up saying to her was, you are going to have ups and downs with anyone, including the love of your life. With the person who you have this amazing, most amazing, incredible connection and love with, you are still going, over the course of the rest of your life, you are still going to have ups and downs with them because it is inevitable. It is part of life. And so the question isn't, are you going to find, is it possible to find someone out there who's perfect, that there will never be anything wrong with and life will be perfect with all the time? Or who can you not live without? Because the reality is that no one is perfect. There is always going to be ups and downs with everyone. The grass is not greener anywhere else. Don't expect your twin flame to never make any mistakes. We're all still human. We're all still flawed. Don't expect them to never make mistakes. This is not about finding someone who's perfect, because it's not even possible. And it's actually about, who can't you live without? Who do you love more than worrying about their flaws and their mistakes and whatever ups and downs you're going to go through together? Who do you love enough to work through anything with? So there's another example of what you might be struggling with, what some of you might be struggling with, over worrying about what's going on in the 3D, what's happened in the past, what will happen in the future. It's not about finding a perfect partner. It's about finding who you can't live without, and who that love of your life is. And your twin flame is that love of your life. So now I figure I'm going to just go through a few other quotes that I have saved that I haven't had time to either, I haven't recorded about yet, or I haven't written about yet. I think this is a good time to go over some of those. So one of them is, keep believing, because to sit in faith is to expect miracles. These are quotes that Spirit has given me. This one I really liked, and I think it goes along with this theme well. Now you must become so unwavering that no one can affect you. No one and nothing else can pull you down, make you fear, make you doubt, and pull you off your journey. You're committed to the journey no matter what. Continuing with the quotes from Spirit. Okay, this one I believe was from the beginning of the year. And I know I talked about it already, but I meant to turn it into a graphic and I haven't yet. But I'm going to reread it again. You expect your dreams to come true, and they will, but on my timing, meaning Spirit's timing. And when letting go comes more naturally. Don't expect everything to happen like you think it will. You will be surprised by how everything comes together. Don't come to conclusions that it will happen a certain way. Be open to every possibility. Believe in the impossible and see it happening. Meet him in union together by believing in complete miracles, which goes along with what I was saying earlier. This was a specific message from Jesus, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene, also at the beginning of the year. And if you recall, they also said the theme for the year is expansion in all ways. Okay. Expect many faithful followers of the light to dance with their dreams. Kill expectations of what you think should happen and when. You can be unexpectedly surprised by how quickly everything falls into place. Don't give up. Believe in your divine twin flame and trust that they will find their way home to you. Open your heart to receive all the blessings that are coming to you. Okay, so this next one was a specific message to a specific client that I told her, I'm going to share this publicly because it's a really powerful message. And this was for a twin ray. And if you recall me talking, twin rays are a group of twin flames who do have the option to give up. The first group of twin flames, the first group of 144,000, union is guaranteed and soul will overrides free will. The second group of twin flames that are called twin rays are not guaranteed to come into union, and there is more interplay between free will and soul will because their souls still have some more soul growth to work through. They're basically being tested to say, are you ready or not? Are you ready to come into union? They can come into union. It's just not guaranteed. I've talked about twin rays before. I actually channeled some more information about them recently that I'm going to share soon. But for now, I just wanted to preface that because this message is talking about someone who's thinking about giving up. So this message says, you can't become who you are truly meant to be while deserting your twin flame who is part of you. Expecting this to come easily is a lie. You make this easy and kill lies you tell yourself, or you send yourself down a different path. Out of desperation comes focused intentions to be in control, but you can't control everything like you want to. Expect to feel out of control like being on a train without an operator. Expect things to happen that are meant to, even though they are a challenge to defeat and to handle. I'm going to have to finish in the next one. Resuming that last message right where I finished, if I can find it. Expect things to happen that are meant to, even though they are a challenge to defeat and to handle. That is how you discover who you really are deep down inside. When you surrender to the journey, you allow yourself to truly blossom in ways you didn't know you could. Be true to your soul and keep believing in your destiny with your twin flame. I thought that message was just so powerful. If you didn't see the end of the last video, if you're on TikTok, you go find it to listen to the beginning of that message, and then this was the end of it, because I just ran out of time. 3 minutes passes quickly. Anywhere else it'll already be spliced together. But I just thought that message was really powerful because honestly, Spirit was kind of like saying to her, hey, this is what it's like. This is what you got to deal with. You got to get over it. And this is how you discover who you truly are deep down inside. Are you ready to pass the test? So yeah, I just thought that was really powerful. Is there more? I think that is it. So yeah, I guess that's it. Everything I wanted to talk about. To be honest, I think I want to read that last message one more time. I think it was really powerful enough to repeat. So I'm going to repeat the first one that I started with. There's going to be ups and downs with everybody. Nobody is perfect. Who is it that you can't live without? Who is it that you love more and are willing to get through those ups and downs with and get past their flaws and mistakes with? Because you're flawed too. No, let's just remember that also. You are also flawed and will make mistakes. So who do you love enough to get through that with? And then now this message one more time. You can't become who you are truly meant to be while deserting your twin flame who is part of you. Expecting this to come easily is a lie. You make this easy and kill lies you tell yourself, or you send yourself down a different path. Out of desperation comes focused intentions to be in control, but you can't control everything like you want to. Expect to feel out of control like being on a train without an operator. Expect things to happen that are meant to, even though they are a challenge to defeat and to handle. That is how you discover who you really are deep down inside. When you surrender to the journey, you allow yourself to truly blossom in ways you didn't know you could. Be true to your soul and keep believing in your destiny with your twin flame. To me, this is perfect going along with the collective healing I'm doing today for forgiveness, because Spirit specifically said forgiving yourselves for making mistakes, failing, giving up, expecting too much, breaking your twin's heart, changing your mind, hating your twin, breaking your promises, etc., etc. So what are you going to do?